Oak Island is a privately owned island in Lunenburg County, Nova Scotia, Canada. It spreads across 140 acres, about 60 hectares, and is one of the 360 tree-covered islands in Mahone Bay. Oak Island is mostly popular for various stories and theories about buried treasure somewhere on it, as well as about a curse related to the treasure. The first people who lived there were the Mi'kmaq. While it's believed that the island was first used by Frenchmen in the 1750s, it was settled by British people in 1759. But since the first legends about the Oak Island treasure started in 1857, the island has been owned by several treasure hunters. Over 50 books have been published about the island's history and treasure, including The Hand of Robin Squires, Riptide, and The Money Pit Mystery. The curse of the treasure says that 7 people will die before the treasure can be found. Today, a memorial stands on Oak Island to 6 people who've accidentally died while digging on it, which reads, "In memory of those who lost their lives while pursuing the Oak Island quest." The main treasure legend has it that the pirate captain William Kidd had hidden his vast treasure on the island before he was executed in London in 1701 for piracy and murder. But other stories predate this. It was in 1856 that the stories of the first treasure hunters on Oak Island reached the newspapers, and there has since been various speculation about what the treasure could actually contain. It's widely believed that it comprises the last Queen of France, Marie Antoinette's jewels, manuscripts, and many golden religious artifacts. The first place searched by the treasure hunters was the Money Pit, located on the east side of the island, a shaft over 100 feet deep. Stories say that a teenager found the location indented in 1975, and that he found a man-made shaft after having dug down with his friends. The boys then found wooden platforms every 10 feet down. Nolan's Cross is another popular searching place for the hunters, as well as Smith's Cove, where various small objects have already been found. The first accidental death on Oak Island is reported to have been in the fall of 1861, when a worker was killed after a pump engine boiler burst. The man's identity remains unknown, and his death wasn't reported until 2 years later, when it was written about in the novel Rambles Among the Blue Noses, and was covered by newspapers only 5 years later. Maynard Kaiser died on the 26th of March 1987 while he was working on re-excavating the Money Pit. He was in charge of taking care of the containers of dirt on top of one of the pits when he fell to his death because his rope had slipped off the hoisting pulley. Work on the Money Pit had to be halted for a week because none of the workers wanted to recover Maynard's body. The dig then continued, and after reaching the depth of 110 feet, the team found a tunnel network which had previously been built by El Dorado Halifax Company. They thus realized that they had been excavating the wrong shaft and had to move 10 feet to reach the Money Pit. In August 1965, various newspapers reported that 4 treasure hunters had died while searching for the Oak Island treasure. The digging had started 6 years earlier and had cost the team more than $200,000. The 4 men, Robert Ristol Sr. and his son Robert Jr., Cyril Hiltz, and Carl Gracer, died on a Tuesday after a gas leak in a shaft 27 feet below ground level. 2 treasure hunters managed to escape, and they believed that the 4 men were killed by swamp gas, while others claimed that it was a gasoline pump engine, which stood close to the pit, had filled it with carbon monoxide. 2 other men also managed to escape, while another was saved by his colleagues, who pulled him unconscious from the pit. A night prior to the accident, Ristol spoke to his friend Peter Beamish, convinced that he had found out how to access the network of tunnels supposedly dug out by Captain Kidd's men, and where he had hidden his treasure of between $30 and $200 million. According to Peter, Ristol was highly excited and was certain that he had it right. The series, The Curse of Oak Island, began airing on History Network on the 5th of January 2014, documenting various teams searching for the legendary Captain Kidd's treasure. The series centers on the brothers Rick and Marty Lagina from Kingsford, Michigan, while they're endeavoring to find the treasure. But the show also covers the facts and other legends about the island, former treasure hunters, and other people who are currently searching for the treasure. The cast also included Dan Blankenship and his son Dave, who are credited with digging the deepest hole in the island at 235 feet, over 70 meters. Dan had spent over 50 years searching for the treasure, and is one of the first people from the show to die on the island. But he was age 95 when he passed away in 2019, during the shooting of the series' 7th season. His son Dave is one of the only 3 permanent residents on the island. One side of his body has been paralyzed since an industrial accident. Some of the other cast members include Marty Lagina's business partner Craig Tester, his stepson Jack Begley, Marty's son Alex Lagina, and the treasure hunter Dan Henske, who has been searching for the treasure for decades. It's said that a total of 14 people have died on the island since 1795, and that at least 7 of those were treasure hunters. This is why even more people are searching for the supposed Captain Kidd's treasure nowadays, believing that the curse of 7 deaths has been lifted, and that the treasure could be found anytime soon. Dan Blankenship was among the first treasure hunters and cast members of The Curse of Oak Island who died. He was rarely seen close to digging spots, as he was not much of a physical worker, but he was the brain behind the operation. His crew often had to search for him around the island when they were in need of direction. Dan was also the oldest man on the show, and had been starring in it since its premiere. Following his death, the show's cast held a memorial in his honor at Borehole 10X, the location at which Dan had found various interesting artifacts. He was working as a contractor in Florida when he first heard about the treasure, and was so intrigued by it that he came to search for it himself. He is survived by his son Dave and daughter Linda Flowers. Fred Nolan was a passionate treasure hunter, but who might not be that familiar to the public because he had spent minimal time in front of the camera. He was 89 when he passed away peacefully of old age on the 4th of June 2016, survived by his wife Aura and their son Thomas, and 2 granddaughters. According to various articles and documents about Fred's life, he was one of the first of Nova Scotia's professional surveyors. He was fascinated with history, especially that of Oak Island, and was into learning all that he could about the myths surrounding the island. He began studying Spanish maps at an early age, and had spent decades walking and investigating the island, both alone and with other treasure hunters. Even though Fred spent little time in front of the camera, mostly because he wanted it that way, he was still a highly respected treasure hunter, as he was the main consultant behind the scenes. Similar to Fred Nolan, Drake Tester appeared in the show only a couple of times, but was often there to help his father Craig and his treasure hunting crew. He was mostly seen in the 3rd season of the show, talking with his father and discussing the possibilities of other dig locations. Drake has also occasionally appeared in The Curse of Oak Island, alongside his paternal half-brother Jack Begley, who is still today an important part of the show, as he's a prospector who doesn't mind getting his hands dirty and doing physical work together with Craig Tester's team. Drake's death remains the most tragic amongst all which have occurred during the shooting of the show, because he was only 16 when he passed away. His death was covered by the show 9 and 10 News, which revealed that he'd been suffering from a seizure disorder since he was a baby. He passed away in the spring of 2017, and his peers from Traverse City Central High held a memorial in his honor, talking about his smile and energy, which they had all admired, and about his beatboxing skills and other unique talents. Drake's death was also revealed during the premiere of the Oak Island show's 5th season. Chris Donna's death is also the most recent, as he passed away on the 14th of September 2021, only a couple of days after having turned 55. He was a teacher at A.A. Kingston Middle School in Potsdam, New York State, but was also a treasure hunter, fascinated by Oak Island. Chris appeared in the 2019 episode Seismic Matters of the 6th season of The Curse of Oak Island, helping Rick Lagina's treasure hunting team. Chris had previously spoken about the importance of astronomy in locating the treasure, and although he had filmed for a previous episode, that one never made it to the screen. The cause of Chris's death remains unknown, but many fans of the show believe that it was a heart attack. Cast members honored him in an episode, and netizens, citizens of the internet, have stated that it was sweet that Chris was honored that way. Chris's main interests were astronomy, early Freemasons to Oak Island, and the Knights Templar. The most significant discovery on Oak Island is perhaps still the Money Pit, which was found in 1795 by then 16-year-old Daniel McGinnis when he went fishing there. The following important discovery came more than 200 years later, when Rick and Marty Lagina found a jeweled brooch, and this was followed by the finding of a granite stone 90 feet down the Money Pit. No one has been able to authoritatively decipher the code written on it, but one attempt at the translation reads, 40 feet below, 2 million pounds are buried. Coconut fiber has been found 60 feet below the surface, which is strange because the nearest coconut trees are more than 1,500 miles away. It's believed that these fibers were used to craft ropes. Rick and Marty Lagina also found 2 iron objects in Lot 21, and it's been reported that these were swages, blacksmith tools crafted back in the 14th century. The Laginas then found 2 bone fragments, which were identified as human, one of Middle Eastern ancestry and the other European. They also found a Templar coin near the Money Pit, while a Templar cross was discovered close to Smith's Cove. So, the reality, or more likely myth, about Oak Island continues. Unlikely as it may seem, after hundreds of years of searching on a small island, there are still those with enough belief to carry on the search. Well, maybe it does make for intriguing television.
Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video.
We also handpick these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.